It's a pleasure to be here and also an honor to be here. So I've been living in Poland for 11 years now, so it's quite a long time. And to be honest, what we're gonna talk about today is how the events since the 24th of February, when the full-scale war has started in Ukraine, has changed Ukrainians and changed Ukraine. But before we start, I would like to thank everybody here and everybody in Poland from us Ukrainians. So I've been living here for a long time, but the amount of tremendous support we've received as Ukrainians in Poland is overwhelming. I surely did not expect that, so thank you very much. Yeah. Yeah. So what you need to know about us. So we are both consultants. So we work in consultancy. Our primarily focus is organizational design.
And the important moment that we are not theoretical consultant.
Yeah.
So we are practitioners. We've been in teams, in developer roles as well, and the Scrum Master role. And now we are consulting other companies because there are two kinds of consultants, you know, book theoretical one and some who do the job.
Yeah, and we are kind of geeks. So people who know me, they know I'm a geek. So I have bad news for you. There are two of us right now over here, and we see Scrum, agility, change everywhere. So we're going to talk about actually the change. One more thing that you have to know about us is that both of us, we have very weird sense of humor, like pure Ukrainian, full with sarcasm, irony. So in this talk, there will be sarcasm, irony, and also some political figures and our private opinion on them. All right?
Yeah.
It's private opinion.
And at least, you know, these phrases are considered by us as a jokes.
Yeah.
So it might be that it's not funny for you, but at least it's funny for us. Like this one.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, we started, so since we're not two very promising soldiers, we thought about how we can support Ukraine. So actually, I wanted to go to fight in Ukraine, but my girlfriend forbade me and said, look at you, you're gonna go there, it's at least half of the provisions. So you're gonna do more harm than good. So that's why Artem and I, we started the initiative called Agile with Ukraine. We raise donations through meetups, courses, training, auctions, everything possible to help Ukrainian army. So this is actually the picture of a pilot, and you see, pilot has a medical kit. And this medical kit was delivered by the United Foundation, for whom we raise money. Yeah, so support Ukraine, continue supporting Ukraine, and
yeah, and as far as this initiative, you know, for me, I was sitting with my family on 12 square meters in hotel in mountains, waiting until uncertainty will become more certain, and without work, of course, because all my contracts were put at pause because of force majeure. And this idea of like doing what we can do as usually, like connecting people to get them new learnings and insights with the best ever experts, and at the same time, you know, raise some money for Ukrainian soldiers. It was a good idea, and we did 18 webinars in first 21 days of the initiative. So every evening I can switch my brain from what's going on around and reading the news about what was bombed again and who was killed and how many civilians to something at least for 45 minutes of being in another context. So it was very helpful. And what we want to say, we have some souvenirs. Maybe you've seen some memes in the internet, you know, like tanks stealed by tractors or some other interesting memes. So we have stickers, we have magnets and other stuff. So if you will share this picture, and in the end there is a slide with a QR code how to donate for foundations with whom we are working as Agile with Ukraine, and you will post it to Twitter and LinkedIn so more people in Europe and around the world will see it, and you will show it to us. You can choose some small souvenir, but amount of them are quite limited, so you should do it
hurry up.
Hurry up, yeah. So the slide will be at the end of the presentation with QR code and link how to donate. We are not collecting money to our own bank accounts because we don't want to, you know, to look strange, but we know people who really do this stuff, and we're helping them.
Yep.
The most often I was asked, because I was sitting in Ukraine till 11th of September, from people I'm working with, many people from other countries, like, how are you there? How it's possible to live there? You are working. Oh, it's unbelievable. Are you sitting in shelter? So we are using this example to explain. Yeah, as Agile people, we like measurements. We like metrics to, to compare. So now it's day 216 already from the full-scale invasion, and humans are very adaptive creatures. I want to say that first weeks when we hear this air alarm signal, like we don't want to give it to you, but it's unbelievably not pleasant sound. So you are scared, you don't know what to do, you want to run but don't know in which direction. And now what you are doing, you are just waking up, close your window, not to hear it, and go back to bed. Sometimes you use some bad words and swearing like, again, stupid Rushes. So that's how it works. Some data from Kyiv from the beginning, from 24th of February, there were 538 air alarms. And in Kharkiv, to compare, 1,188 air alarms. Can you imagine this amount of accidents? And only in total 23 days, like 23 multiplied by 24 hours. So it's total time of like danger. So my brain is not so powerful as it was before because of continuous stress, and maybe I will forget some words during the talk. Maybe not, I don't know. Strange dark humor, we've said about it at the beginning. Yeah, and just 13 days when you can, like, during the whole day not hear the sound, and we become to be a little bit nervous, like, what's going on? Where are they? Maybe later. Yeah, and today probably there will be another one. So war is still there. It's not stopped yet. And yeah, and I'm here, and tomorrow I'll be driving back to the country, not to become, out of flow. That's how it works. And another one, when we were preparing this talk, we've been thinking, what can we how can we describe the change? What is going on? And the feeling was that the level of trust between Ukrainians is growing. So we've created a survey, and more than 100 people fulfilled the survey, and the question was absolutely simple and stupid. How much did you trust unknown Ukrainians before 24th of February? And how much did you trust unknown Ukrainians after 24th of February? The respondents were from Ukraine, mostly. And you can see the difference, yeah? You can see the difference. And if to go deeper, not to spend your time too much, like average is grown, and we can see 9 and 10 now, yeah? No 9 and 10s before, and the scale was like 0, I don't trust anyone, all them are lying. 10 was like, I am ready to give the last dollar from my mattress, like hidden for black days, so I will give it to immediately. Yeah. And what else? This talk is not about, culture and like it was bad, now it's better, we are a good nation, no. It's based on one model from system thinking called iceberg model. Who of you are aware of iceberg model or using it in your work? Okay, then others, at least you will learn a new model, and maybe even two. So what it is about? It's about how to analyze what's going on in company and why on 4 layers. And the first one is events, like what has just happened, what we are observing. And we will give you simpler examples than war. It's product development team. And let's imagine that product development team have promised to deliver something in some dates and missed an important deadline. Have you ever seen such event in your teams? Oh, we're not alone, okay. So it's not an imaginary case, yeah? Okay. And what if to go deeper, like, is it the first time or not? Have we seen such occasions before with this team? Maybe yes, maybe no. So what trends have we been over time? And we can observe some pattern, for example, with this team during the last half year, 4 out of 6 recent releases missed deadlines. Okay, why it's so? If to go deeper with this model on this example, we can see like what influenced the patterns, and maybe, probably, the reason is because of context switching, because of multitasking, even in the description of position in the companies, they say like we're looking for people ready for multitasking and high stress. For Ukrainians now, it's just a joke. And everything is urgent, we need to do it at the same time because several product managers request something from this team. They've worked from few backlogs. Like on the planning, they should look at these backlogs and that backlog, blah, 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 blah. No clear priorities. It's a structural problem, or not problem, it's an element of their organizational design, if you have listened to Craig yesterday at the end of the day. And if to go deeper to mental models, we will ask like, okay, but why it's so? What beliefs in their head? What like values do they have to support such a system, such a structure? And we can find out that beliefs that is the only way to work in this company. I've been there for 10 years. We were a small company, we were working like this. Now we are a big company, which means we are successful, we have more contracts, more people. Why should we change anything? And also, I was a junior developer, now I am senior engineering manager, which means it brings me to like success, you know? So why should I change anything? And that's why we came to this success with this mindset. We will support this structure and you will observe such an events. That's how it works. And we will use this structure of iceberg to present you why culture matters and how Ukrainian society are changing. So it's a snapshot of nowadays with our subjective feeling about it.
Yeah.
Andrii?
True. So let's start with mental models. Unfortunately, mental models are deeply misunderstood and you will never see them on a PowerPoint presentation because who cares what people think? People have to work, right? Yeah, who cares what people believe in, what assumptions they have to work. So about mental models of Ukrainians, we are a very weird nation. Throughout the whole history, we've been fighting to become free. Right? We fought almost with everyone. Not because we wanted to or liked to, but we had to, right? And in the year 1991, we gained our independence, finally got rid of the Soviet Union. Awesome. What should have started then? We should have started nurturing our own culture, answering one simple question: what does it mean to be Ukrainian? Did we do that? Spoiler, no. No, we did not pay attention to that. We did not care about that. We were focused on ourselves, just like individuals, right? And what did it lead to? We're just going to show you one son of a... Okay. Yeah. His name is Viktor Medvedchuk. Raise a hand who've heard of seen a guy. Yeah? So, just a couple of information about him. He is an oligarch, one of the wealthiest men in Ukraine. Of course, he has money, he has the influence. So, he has to do a political party. And he's a godfather of Putin's daughter. Any ideas where his political party should lean to? who he sympathizes, right? And he was caught in Ukraine trying to flee the country. And while he was caught, he told us that he received around $5 billion to build and to make a coup, to hire mercenaries to make a coup in Ukraine. Unfortunately, he's a very greedy son of a... Yeah, he stole almost all of the money. And still, we know him. We know that this is a bastard. But by the polls made in December 2021, 23% of Ukrainians still supported him. Why? Did they believe in him? No, they just didn't care. They just didn't care enough.
Small fact to explain how much he has stolen. He has more planes than some, army formations of Russian army. And also, he has his own train with golden wagon, with Fabergé eggs inside and other masterpieces of art.
Yeah.
It's just a small top of the iceberg, going back to icebergs.
Yeah, and the most weird thing is that we've been having war for 8 years, since 2014. But the war was only in Donbas region. 300, 400 kilometers, you couldn't feel that we have a war in the country, right? Enter February 24th. A lot of stuff has changed. So by recent data, I've read that every 5th Ukrainian kid knows how to make a Molotov cocktail. Every 5th, right? So what were our typical mental models of Ukrainian? First one, the most common, and people in Poland especially are surprised about that, is the language you speak, right? Because we're bilingual, we speak both Ukrainian and Russian before the 24th. So I was raised in Ukrainian, but as soon as I heard somebody speak in Russian, I would respond to the person in Russian as well, right? And that's why we had some internal difficulties with the language, and we were comparing ourselves, who is better Ukrainian? I'm a better Ukrainian because I speak Ukrainian. You are worse Ukrainian because you speak Russian. I'm better Ukrainian because I live in Lviv. You are worse Ukrainian because you live in Kherson.
Yeah, I'm better Ukrainian because I grew in a big city and you are from small village or stuff like that. Such typical,
Exactly. And that's why even in our internal language, we were saying Eastern Ukraine, Western Ukraine, Southern Ukraine, as if there were different Ukraines over there. Since February 24th, this is the picture taken from Kherson. the city is now occupied by Russians, but people were going out for weeks to protest peacefully. And right now, one of the biggest partisanships is in Kherson. And what has changed is that now, for every Ukrainian, we don't care from which part of Ukraine you are, we don't care what language you speak, you're Ukrainian. And for the first time throughout our independent years, we're saying proudly that we're Ukrainians. So this is a very big cultural change for us. Second one. So we've said that the war has been for 8 years in a row now, right? And for 8 years, yeah, we say war sucks. Yeah, we know that. But I have to feed my family. I have to take care of myself. I have to take care about my family. The war is out there. I live 500, 400 kilometers from there. Well, yeah, it's pretty shitty, but I have to take care about myself. So we were very self-centered as Ukrainians. And one of the things that has changed dramatically is that the good of society became more important to us than our own good. And this picture, who has just appeared, again, this is the picture taken in the western part of Ukraine on the third day, and on the third day there was still a queue for people to get enlisted.
Yeah, it's Ternopil. Because I believe that some of
yeah.
you know geography of Ukraine quite well, even better than our scholarship.
Yeah, yeah. So this has changed. The good of society is greater than our own good. This is also a tremendous change. And currently we have around 700 people, men and women, who are protecting our country.
700,000.
700,000, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Third thing is our very, very, very old motto. What can I do alone? I'm alone, what can I do? What can I change?
Yeah. Maybe you have heard this model also in one country, who are now not protesting enough, because what can they change?
Yeah, exactly. So this is the picture taken from the Chernigiv region. This is actually the hometown my girlfriend is from, where people, they didn't even call each other, they just stood up, came out, and they did not let Russian tanks to go through the city. And then they started calling. So you see guys in sweatpants who are calling neighbors just to come out. It's also huge for us. And of course, last but not least, is that, okay, the troubles are far away. What can I do? This is the picture from the cities. So a lot of policemen had to go to the front. A lot of policemen had to go protect our country, which left our cities vulnerable. Of course, as any other nations, we don't have the best representatives sometimes, and there were people who were trying to take advantage of it, and they were trying to do marauder stuff. So this is how people in Ukraine dealt with marauders. They caught them.
Give some lessons.
They practiced FVC, full violent communication. Yeah. Yeah, this is transparency, exactly. And they just left there. They just left them there for the police to come and grab them. And we were just wondering. So yeah, this is actually happening. But what caused such a change? It has to have something with the structure and the structural changes that happened in Ukraine. So Artem.
Yeah. Who of you have been yesterday on the last keynote by Craig Larman? Do you remember he was talking a lot about importance of change in structure and organizational design? And we will continue this topic right now. So as for the structure, you cannot just say like, you should be a different nation. You should be united. And everyone, oh, okay, let's be united, yeah? Like, don't sit at home. Together, we can do the stuff. You are not alone. Oh, okay, let's do this. No, it doesn't work like that. So first you need to introduce some structural changes as well. So this is like a two half of, how to say, mushля?
For shell.
For shell, yeah, for shell, with mollusk inside, like this culture, this structure, and you should align them nicely. You cannot do one without second one. I've steal it from whom? Oh, yeah, that's what I said. I'm forgetting the names, excuse me. I will do it later. Okay, so as for the culture follow structure, how it works on very simple example, very simple picture. So let's imagine that you have some structure, it's square. And inside you have some culture. For now it's red. It's not related to red, blue, green, orange, no. It's just an example. So, yeah, okay. And fulfilled with red culture. Now you introduce a new structure, circle. And it creates new angles for people, And for example, now I don't have a team lead. I need to make a decision. So I will go to second team and ask another developer to collaborate somehow without team lead. So it's provoked new behaviors. Yeah? As you can see, new behaviors emerge. Thin line of greenish culture inside. And if we will keep a new structure, then new habits stick after some period. And you can wait for new culture will emerge. That's how it works. So very simplified, of course, but to explain the idea. Yeah? And if you want to go deeper, you can follow Craig Larman, read his articles, or this book by John Kotter, Accelerate Change. I haven't read it yet.
It's good.
He said it's good. So all questions to Andrii. And we will show you something about structure. So first of all, now we finally have one common goal. How it was before. For someone, preferably elder people, the goal was like to live as it was before, as one big nation with other nations from post-Soviet countries. For some people, it was like to be united with people like me. For some people, it was like to move from Ukraine as soon as possible because it's a country without future. I need to save my kids from and live in Europe, USA, Canada, whatever. Now we have one common goal. You know what is the goal? To survive as a nation. Because it's a genocide. They're killing the whole nation. Yeah? And it's a very powerful goal. Now we're united around it. So it's not excuse me. Yeah, thank you. It's not about territories, really. It's not about square meters. It's about be a nation, be alive. And we've started from this ship, so it's already sent to right direction. And our army helping us to deliver more with some concrete people who are provoking this and supporting this and pushing people to do this stuff. Also, the goal is not enough. Goal is crucially important, but it's not enough. Finally, we have one. What's going on? No. Now we have one product owner with an unbelievable level of support. Previously, we usually have two people, like 33%, 35%, and few more with 5-7%. Now this guy with 90% plus. So let's call him like chief product owner.
Just product owner.
But in our organizational design model we support, it's just one product owner. And what he did, he is not, locking all the power and authority and decision making on his own. He delegating. He hired professional area product owners who are professionals in their area and authorized to make decisions without asking for permissions. And they did the same on their levels. And it works. And of course, when you have such a structure with clear goal, one goal, uniting people around, we also now have one team. And it works much better than it was before. And you can say, like, okay, it's so obvious. Why you haven't did it before? 30 plus years from the Independence Day. We don't know, but we will show you a bit later. We have a suggestion, an idea, a hypothesis. So we moved from me to we. Like instead of what I want, what I need, what I want to do for my kids, for my family, to what can we do? How can I help others? And we moved from silos, like I'm mostly speaking with people working in software in IT. So those guys, I don't know what was their problems. This is Irpin. After it was cleaned up from Rushists, after their gestures of goodwill. And people moved to the city back immediately, even though they were said not to do it because it's still dangerous, not clean up from rest of the unexploded bombs and so on. They said, no, we want to go home and help to clean up our streets because we cannot sit and wait. Yeah?
So most probably they won't hear something, I'm a developer, I won't clean up. Like, I'm a developer, I won't test, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what kind of role you have.
Yeah.
You just do stuff.
Also, we are practicing multi-learning. It's a very important element now, because as Andrii said, like kids know how to do cocktail Molotov. Adult people know a lot about tactical medicine, do some testing of tactical medicine suppliers and change the best one to prevent others to spend and waste money for unqualified stuff. We are doing this masking nets at evenings, new hobby for people, Early grandmothers were doing some socks Now they are doing masking nets, also great, with kids, family activity. And many leaders tried, really, to do something with us as a nation. We have 4 presidents, and there were one more guy. He's now somewhere in Rostov. We would not put him here because he's not president for us. He's a bastard. And it started from him, all these consequences. And many leaders tried, but why only now? What do you think?
What do you think was crucial for this change to happen?
Just shout, please, if you have an idea. Common enemy?
Common enemy. All
Might
right.
be. Thing?
Crisis. Yeah. I'm sorry? Clever why?
Might be.
Might be. Okay. Okay.
Some of them also have clever wives.
So, yeah, all of you are right. We just use a different word. We say it's sense of urgency, right? So right now we have a sense of urgency, and this picture has been chosen not by mistake, because actually we're running from missiles. Maybe not like that, not that literal, but still true. And the thing is that right now we have a sense of urgency, which would say, and we would say that if not now, we won't have a second chance later. And just think about one thing. So raise a hand who has participated in agile transformation or change. Yeah? Adoption, flip, whatever. Do you have that? Do you have the sense of urgency in your company? Do you know the why behind? Have you taken a look even on the mental models, what your people think inside the company? Because the people who are accountable for the change are your managers, and most probably the managers are sitting in your companies for quite a long time.
And feel quite comfortable.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So we warned you, we were geeks, and we observed this stuff, right? But one of the most important things, actually, to start a change is to start with the why, start with mental models, and the structures people are working in. So, last thing we want to show you are the examples of patterns and events right now that we observe. Yeah, and we're going to correlate just to the Scrum values. So let's start with courage.
Yeah, as a Scrum geeks, of course, we try to map it somehow on something we know. And Scrum values works brilliantly. So it's about courage. That's how our farmers collect this year outcome of their job. You can see warplanes in the sky protecting them from missiles. So it's air defense. Otherwise, we can end up like this. So it's a this year photograph. This one probably Photoshop.
But we couldn't resist.
We couldn't resist, yes. It's very nice visualization of courage of our nation right now. And this one is very historical because it was produced for Lean Agile London conference, where we were invited to speak, and because of some reasons, probably know which, I cannot be there, so we were speaking online. And this is a place where this presentation, first iteration, birth. And they have these stickers, so maybe you can contact Jose Casal. He will be very happy.
Yeah,
for more people.
And the displays of courage are all over Ukraine. So we had, for example, Artem's favorite story about
old men
who were in the city which was sieged, and there were Russian soldiers who would come into his house and say, "Look, give us some food and something to drink."
Yeah,
he said, "I have a better idea."
They were looking for relaxing stuff. They were looking for vodka mostly.
Yeah.
And he said, "I have no vodka."
I have a better idea. Would you like some weed? They said, "Of course." And he just poured a little bit of mercury in the joints.
Yeah, some mercury from thermometers in the joints.
There were grannies who were preparing poisoned food, and this is just the displays of courage we have in Ukrainians right now.
Yeah, and there were farmers, of course, who were pulling tanks while those soldiers were sleeping. It's a real fact. You can check it in many media sources.
Focus. So we have one team right now, and our team right now is the Armed Forces of Ukraine. And no matter in which part of the world you are, every Ukrainian is right now focused to help Ukrainian army as much as he or she can. So on the left, you see a guy in the orange hoodie. He's a Scrum Master who managed to get out of Ukraine because he's also not a promising soldier. And he is right now living in Warsaw. And this is the warehouse, actually, that was rented by friends of mine. And if you want to see the real continuous integration, how the stuff goes to Ukraine, you should just go there. It's amazing. It's the best way to learn what continuous integration is if you don't have any background in IT. And we're joking about Yaroslav is that why are we renting right now a place in Warsaw if you live in the warehouse? Yeah. Commitment.
Yeah, so we have now this, challenge with work-life balance, and all the focus is spread it equally sometimes. So commitment, we're doing what we can do in our own front. Someone fundraising, someone driving cars to evacuate people, someone is fighting, someone is trained fighters, and that's it. And this is an example how we collect money and fundraise. It was at the end of April, beginning of May, I believe. Yes, it's the beginning of May. In one day, less than 24 hours, DOE, which is Developers Org.ua, biggest software developers community in Ukraine, collected 30 million grivnas, which is about 1 million USD, in less than 24 hours to buy drone. But what we found out later is that not only on that community and representatives of it were posting about fundraising, but also we have somebody of you have heard something about OnlyFans?
You really
Maybe some
that?
users, subscribers? No, of course not. We as well. So we have another territorial defense battalion, which called Territorial Defense OnlyFans Models, and they are selling some nude photos for donates on army, and they've collected some unbelievable amount of money, and they were, active contributor to this project. And you can see another projects. In 6 days, 64 millions, and the most popular one is 2 days to collect 600 million grivnas, which about 20, maybe 16 million euros, dollars. Yeah, in 2 days, just in 2 days. So people are highly committed to give whatever they have just to help people and to let people sleep in their rooms, as you are also doing. Thank you so much for keeping our relatives and friends at your homes. It's unbelievable support. It's really important. So in many, many other examples, but we have lack of time and we want to...
Yeah, so respect. This is Dima. So in peaceful time, Dima is Scrum Master, Agile Coach, Consultant, whatever. Since the full-scale invasion, Dima, he was studying in the university and he had some military experience, so Dima went out and is protecting Ukraine right now. So Dima is a commander of a troop. It's 150 men around. So the level of respect for our defenders that we have in Ukraine is tremendous. So you might recognize these guys. Part of them have returned from the captivity with anorexia right now, and the level of respect we show to our military is just so huge. So the last thing we can do for them is to actually say goodbye in a proper way. And those are the pictures taken from different parts of Ukraine, how people saying the last goodbye to people who have fallen while protecting our country. So the picture on the right is actually in a city with 350 population, 350,000 population, and that one is a village from different parts of Ukraine. And this is how we say the last goodbye to our fallen heroes. So the level of respect we have right now for the military is just huge, but not also to the military. We have the level of respect to the authorities, to the police, to people who are doing public service, to the politicians. It's the first time that we don't really hate everyone who are the politicians.
For some period.
For some period, at least, yeah. So we have to enjoy it while it lasts. Yeah, and the last one is openness.
And it's also about openness. Probably you have read about how fast they are now able to create a new procedures, new laws,
new policies,
new policies, and for example, to remove taxes for bringing cars, which is quite important for military troops there in East, because it's like napkins for civilian. So they are spending like few cars per week because they're bombed, shelled, and shooted. So our news reporters, they're working all together, like no competing, like, for the materials. They're working in one studio 24 hours per day, all together, shoulder to shoulder. So no competition, openness to try something absolutely new. For example, we have an application, DIA. It's a part of digital transformation of our country. And if you were a refugee from your region, you can just click one button. It will check your usual place of living and where are you now. And you can request some money from government as a support. And you shouldn't, go to one institution, print a lot of papers, take some stamps, signatures, and go to another institution, stay in a queue for years. No, the openness is such. Like, okay, we believe you, and we will check it digitally as much as we can. So a lot of innovation, a lot of openness to try, to experiment, and so on and so on. And yeah, bots to submit a case if you observe military troops of Russians on streets, so you can do it also digitally and in a private way, so it will be automatically deleted if you will be captured, they can found it in your phone. So we're experimenting with many stuffs now, and it's a government, a government.
Yeah, so what are the conclusions? What we would like you to take away from our talk? First one.
First of all, nothing will stop the idea which time has come. So now we're in such phase, so we cannot just sit on the table and say like, okay, let's put it in pause. Otherwise, someone will not survive. Because if Russia will stop the war fully, we will leave. If we will stop the war, they will come again refilled with more energy and more troops, and they will smash up us. So we cannot stop. Sense of urgency. Don't forget a sense of urgency, and it will bring a new energy and opportunity for you to change. If you are a change leader, if you are doing transformation, look for sense of urgency. It shouldn't be only negative sense of urgency, like to survive. Sometimes it's a good sense of urgency, like we can acquire new markets if we will change. We can become more adaptive, and we will get a more market share if we change. So look for sense of urgency. It's number one.
Yeah. Second one, start from the systematic overview. So when you're entering the change, don't think what kind of model, what kind of framework we should use. Start with the sense of urgency and then look at the mental models and the structures underneath them. Okay? And the last one is?
Culture follows structure. You cannot change culture without implementing changes in organizational design, and vice versa. You cannot change structure and expect the culture will be the same. And the last one, but not least, please stand with Ukraine, support Ukraine. The war is still there. We need your help. We highly appreciate what you did already. But if you can at least, take the photo and share in your social media, so more people can donate to validated sources, not Red Cross, which is eating 30–40% of money by bureaucracy of organization, not another Red Cross-like bureaucratical huge enterprises, but to some real, with continuous delivery foundations who are delivering every single day. It would be a big amount of support. Thank you so much, and let's hope that we will see next year, maybe in Kyiv. So
yeah, thank you very much.
Stand with Ukraine. Slava Ukraini!
Героям слава.
Thank you very much for this enlightening talk. We have a moment to take a picture. Remember about Agile with Ukraine to support and fund.
Yep.
We have a time for one question for the guys. So the question is, imagine the situation, the war is finally over. How would you use your learnings in your own software team? Like concrete steps, what to do next, how to apply this?
So one of our biggest fears right now is that when the war ends, we won't have, it's gonna roll back. It's one of our biggest fears right now. Unluckily and luckily at the same time, we do have the next optimizing goal in place, which would be rebuild, because the damage that we've received to our infrastructure, but also in terms of mental health, is enormous. So that's why in terms of having the next big goal, I think we're covered. Yeah, but yeah, one of our biggest fears, I mean mine and Artem, is that it's going to roll back. And it's up to everybody in Ukraine that live in Ukraine, or every Ukrainian who is living abroad, to prevent that from happening. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much.